your hands. Hear his mother roar as his father stood tall. We hear their call. We are breaking down those walls. The people are coming together, uniting with our prayers. The power of will is making us stronger, strong as her mother. Because truth is rising, come forward. Truth is rising, come forward. Truth is rising, come forward. Hearts open wide. You are the chosen one. You are the chosen one. You are the chosen one. You are not alone. Walk with your ancestors, walk with your ancestors, walk with your ancestors, lightly on the ground.
This is a really important matter for this baby and for families in New Zealand to stand up for independence of people over state control. So it's a huge issue. I've really got to concentrate on the case now and we've got a few documents been incredibly tight. We only found out about this on Monday night, so we've had basically a day to get organised, but we do appreciate that it's urgent. This family want the best for their baby, and actually, unlike most of these other kind of cases that have gone to court for medical guardianship, this family actually want better for the baby than what the government is offering. So this is a really, really important point. They want safe blood for their baby. They don't want their baby to have blood that may be contaminated with something that can cause more harm than the poor baby's already facing. So that's why we're here. Thank you.
So we've come to the court this morning. It's the 30th of November 2022. The case for little baby Will has been adjourned till Tuesday. We are hoping still that mediation can bring about a softening of the hearts of the doctors in Starship who say, look, you've collected the blood, you're under enormous pressure as new parents. We are going to absolutely listen to your wishes as the legal guardians of baby Will. We're not going to force baby Will out of your arms. We're not going to put you through the stress of nights waiting for the next court appearance. We are simply going to use the unjabbed blood that we know is clean, that we know will never cause any harm to Will, and we're going to get the operation done. Sue Gray said to me in an interview it could be done this afternoon if there was the will in the government, the New Zealand Blood Bank and the hospital. And all we need is the signature from the blood bank to say that the 20 unjabbed donors, that their blood can be used for the operation. So New Zealand, we need to keep on top of this. This will not go away now. This will grow and grow until it becomes so uncomfortable for the government, the public pressure, until the mainstream media realise they must tell the truth. They must tell both sides, and they must put the government on account. They must question the Prime Minister about why she's not pushing for this baby to be operated on, and they must camp outside the New Zealand Blood Service and ask why they are not clearing the blood. So that's where we are now. We'll give you updates as we go. But thank you for all your support. I know how much it's meant to Sam and to Cole, and that's passing on to the little baby Will, who is very calm and very strong and very happy this morning in court, and he's putting on some weight. So that also is great news. Thank you, New Zealand. Sue Gray, I can't believe, I think it's only 2 days since I called you and said, could you help?
Yeah.
What are 2 days? Describe to everybody the hours you've put into being prepared as you were today.
Yeah, it's been a huge 2 days. I was really busy before you rang me. But sometimes things come up that you just have to do. You just have to put things aside and do what you have to do. And I'd spoken to Sam earlier on Monday to just try and get a bit of a plan about what might be done. But at that stage, we had no idea that the reason that the hospital was being so cagey was that they're actually preparing a court application. And they served that on Monday evening.
late at night. I
Late
mean,
at
it was
night.
nearly 7 o'clock. She was breastfeeding. She was already stressed. I know personally, Sam told me she barely slept that night
Yeah.
with these two babies.
Yeah.
But I kept texting her and saying, don't worry, we've got Sue on board. So how did you approach it? Did you get some other people quickly on board to help with preparing affidavits?
Yeah, look, there's an amazing team of people now. We've come to know each other really well over the last, well, especially through Wellington, but all the various challenges that all of us in New Zealand have been facing, and you know who you can rely on.
And who you can trust.
And we've got fabulous lawyers like Kirsten Murfitt who just stepped up. Like, she's not here today, but she's been in the background doing so much work as well. And Ken Nicholson, who just rang me and said, can I come and help? And just having somebody on your team, amazing. And then you guys doing all what you were doing. I don't even know what you were doing to raise awareness, because I was just getting so flooded with emails. You know, the first on Monday evening, and thank you to the lawyers for the hospital, because they actually emailed me the documents straight away on Monday night when I asked for them. And then I basically set up the night preparing the first round of all of the documents that we needed. And we sort of tag teamed a bit. I was working till 3 a.m, and then Kirsten rang me at 5 a.m. and said, I need some information to do my bit, sort of thing. And then, you know, yesterday I got as much finished as I could and got from Nelson up to Auckland so that we were ready today. Went and met Sam and Cole and their gorgeous children last night.
You were in at the hospital last night. Could I just put a call in? Sue has not asked me to do this. We need help for Sue to not be out of pocket for the airfares and all the other costs, to find somewhere to stay, to have the access to machines that will do all the printing she needs. So could we put your account up, Sue, at the end of this when we edit it? And
probably
get some
not my
funds in?
account, but I'll find an account if somebody wants to be like a trustee and look after that. That would be amazing.
We can
That
even
would be
keep
amazing.
it for you. We did that with Tokelau. We can keep the money aside in
and
one
then when we've got a
specific
bill,
account.
that would be amazing.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So we'll do that at Free NZ, and please, can you put money in to help Sue? How did you feel it went today then? Because I for one thing, I want to register, you were extremely well prepared.
Oh, thank you, Liz. Yeah, I mean, you go through this process of having so much information, you're trying to make sense out of it and the angle out of it, but actually it's a very simple case once you go through that process, because this is the first case that I can find where the parents are asking for better medical treatment than the doctors. You know, the other cases that have gone to the court, what we call the medical guardianship cases, the parents are refusing medical treatment because of religious or other reasons, and you know, that's their reasons, but when it comes to it, the court generally steps in and says, look, this baby needs treatment. But this case is completely different. The parents want the medical treatment, but the hospital won't listen to their concerns, and they won't give the family the medical treatment that their baby needs. And they've done so much to line everything up to find the donors. It's not, you know, they come back and say, well, there isn't unvaccinated blood. Well, actually, if they just listened to the family, there is unvaccinated blood, and they can fix the problem straight away, because the donors are there. The people of New Zealand have stepped up to help, and that's how we look after each other.
We are being flooded at Free NZ with offers of unvaccinated blood. I know that Cole and Sam said the same. They've had hundreds of offers, so that is not the reason.
No, it's just because I believe that the government are feeling very exposed. They've gone down a path that they can't justify, and the only way they've been able to manage the public is by putting massive roadblocks on our free speech and on our ability to communicate, and by effectively controlling the media by buying them off with whatever. And what it's done is it's made it so difficult for, you know, people to communicate and do what needs to be done. And so it's just extraordinary to me that we had a case where a senior doctor who looks after people's lives swore an affidavit that was so remarkable. I've never ever seen a professional person swear an affidavit like that, where they effectively call people conspiracy theorists, and that means that we don't have to listen to what they say. So they didn't make any attempt to address the issues. All they did was they called them names and said that, and it's so much the same as what the government did, say in Wellington. Yes. You know, you're a river of filth, so we don't have to have any respect for you. Well, no, they're all public servants, and our elected representatives are there to represent our interests, not to go off and do their own thing, and they need reminding. And, there'll always be limits to what can be done, but this is a case where there is a solution. It's a really good solution. It's on the table, and they haven't even been prepared to listen to it.
And can I say, Sue's thoroughness extends to, in the court today, the opposition lawyer stood up and said, there's never been a mention of conspiracy theorists. Sue turned around and said, it's in your affidavit. So you were so well prepared, you were so tuned up on that.
Yeah.
And that is a frightening subjectivity. That shows a lack of...
Yeah.
What else does it show to you?
Well, it shows that they've forgotten all about professional medical ethics. They've forgotten that their role is to act in the best interests of the child, and they've forgotten that the role of families to have a say and to decide what's right for them. So the bizarre thing about this case is they've come to court because they can't get informed consent from the parents. Well, the parents will give informed consent, but they've just got some very good requirements for this treatment to be given.
For protecting the baby from any possible risk.
And all they're asking is something better than what the blood service is generally offering because of the specific risks that their baby has got, the risk factors he's got, and because of the evidence from all around the world that we know there can be factors in blood that can cause harm. And this crazy thing. So the blood bank has a 28-day delay if you're donating Moderna mRNA vaxxed blood, but they have a 0 delay if you're donating Pfizer mRNA vaxxed blood. So they're clearly acknowledging there might be a risk with mRNA vaxxed blood, but what's the difference? I think, and I can only speculate, the only difference is it's inconvenient for them if they have to have a step down, a delay for Pfizer vaxxed blood. Well, okay, maybe they don't have enough unvaxxed blood. Maybe they know that most people would prefer unvaxxed blood, but at least they could keep it separate and make it available for the cases where it's needed. It's a pretty small thing to ask when they've got the capacity to do that, and they have got the capacity to do it.
And the third reason is we forget sometimes that this jab is still in its rollout phase. It is not confirmed. Just explain a bit about that.
Yeah, so normally it takes years to get a new medicine approved, but there's a very, very truncated process that they've done for this Pfizer vaccine, and they haven't finished the clinical safety trials. Our government regulator, MedSafe, declined full consent for the Pfizer vaccine because they weren't satisfied. The Freedom Car. They weren't satisfied that the benefits exceeded the risks. So that's the government regulator saying we're not satisfied that the benefits exceed the risks. Now, the government obviously had already made all sorts of commitments and they didn't like that. So the next thing is it comes out with provisional consent. And we've already been to the High Court Wellington about that. And the judge agreed with us because it had only provisional consent. It should only be allowed for the restricted treatment of a limited number of patients. So that's the protection, because to get provisional consent, it's basically saying we don't know if it's safe. We don't know if it's effective, but for a few people it might be beneficial. And I get that. If you've got a rare condition, you might be prepared to take a risk. But to roll it out on the entire population and then try and force it on a sick baby is a whole new game again.
And that is what Cole, the father, said in the interview I did the other day. I'm not willing to have my baby experimented on. I'm not willing for that.
Well, I went earlier this year to Nuremberg, the 75th anniversary of Nuremberg. And Nuremberg trials are all about medical experimentation. And we need to remember why we've got the Nuremberg Code and why we've got these protections in our laws and in international law, because it's actually our bodies are our bodies. It's not for the state to experiment on us.
And legally, a small baby of 4 months needs parental protection. Therefore, the law, the whole system must respect the right of parents to give informed consent, must they not?
Absolutely. And look, the law does respect. The parents are the guardian of a baby, and it's a really rare situation that the court can step in over the top of that guardianship. And in the past, it's only been when there's a very, very clear problem that the parents, for whatever reason, won't allow medical treatment and the baby's going to die. But this situation is so different in this case.
Yeah.
And now we've got the government saying we're making a judgment call. We prefer our treatment over your treatment, and if you don't give the treatment that we want, we are going to take over. We're going to ask the court to take over guardianship of your baby. I mean, it's an incredibly scary proposition that the government is making.
It would be a frightening prospect. It literally would be fascism in New Zealand. So where to from here? What do we need from the public, and how do we support them, and what's happening next?
Look, what I'm encouraging people to do is, if you think you've got suitable blood, go along to your local blood bank and offer it on the basis that it is for this baby, and see what they say. You can video yourself offering it and see what response you get. But, the people that have got suitable blood, because we don't want to wait, we don't want to wait until Tuesday and then they'll say, oh, look, now that's too late and there's not enough time to go through the process and collect the blood. If you're here ready, willing and able to go, let's make the blood available. I'm talking to the New Zealand doctors, the wonderful New Zealand doctors, and trying to connect up with the haematologists and others that have got the really technical expertise that I haven't got, so that we can identify any possible road barrier and find solutions. Because doesn't it make a difference when there's a roadblock and you actually want to find a solution rather than when you're actually looking for roadblocks, which is what the government seem to be doing. This whole, the attitude is just astonishing.
I spoke to 3 people from mainstream media, the Radio New Zealand reporter, the reporter for TV3, and I also spoke to this reporter from Stuff, Trolls Somerville. None of them knew that there were 70,000 jab-injured people officially registered on the official government website. Sue, how can our mainstream media be so lacking in the wider understanding of the crisis this government has put our country in health-wise?
Yeah, I mean, it's astonishing. You would have thought reporters would have a bit of research skills and interest in these things. It's like I said in court, and it's a government website. It's the specialists in New Zealand who are responsible for medicines who have published this data about all of these risks. It's the data safety sheet for the Comirnaty Pfizer RNA vaccine, where they identify all of the potential problems. And I'd have to say the New Zealand one is a lot shorter than the EU one. The EU one has got way more issues on it than they've recognised in New Zealand. And there's also the risk management plan, where they identify certain risks and what needs to be done. And what needs to be done, generally speaking, for myocarditis and some of these other things, is get more information. So they're admitting it's still an experiment. They're admitting they don't know the answers. We just need our media to just get on to MedSafe and read it. The next of their safety reports, they were putting them out every month. They haven't put out any since August, but the next one is due out to be published today. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how many deaths are on there, because somebody just sent me an OAA response yesterday, and I think it was, from memory, 47 deaths, or it might have even been more than that, that have been acknowledged post-Pfizer vaccine in New Zealand, and I presume attributed to the vaccine. So we've got one coroner's report so far, and I believe there's another one that I haven't seen yet. There's one that I've got where they clearly attribute myocarditis to the Pfizer vaccine. It's none of this is speculation. This is all fact from the government's own data. And like you say, it's astonishing that none of our media are reading this. That now they know about it. They've got no excuse. You've told them, I've told them, it's all there.
And we can ask the public. That is the part you can play. We know that there are people going to take food into the hospital, to send cards, flowers, any kind of encouragement to Sam and little baby Will, and maybe even some toys for the children. But we're also asking for you to contact the media and let them know that you expect them to do their job. Ask them why they are not asking the Prime Minister and the New Zealand Blood Bank to free up this blood so that the little baby Will's operation can go ahead. It's very simple.
It's very simple. My view, what should happen is immediately they should facilitate Will getting his operation. I mean, they can do it today, and that's why I asked the judge at the end. They were just going to postpone it until Tuesday, and I said, please, can we have some progress in the intervening time? We want them to talk to us so that we can try and find a resolution. And the judge has now directed that they do report back, that we do meet or facilitate a meeting, and they report back by Friday, which is great. But we shouldn't. That should be a given. That should be a given. The answer's on the table. But the other thing is, and this is not specific to Will's case, this is for everybody else in New Zealand, why doesn't the New Zealand Blood Bank start keeping unvaccinated blood separate for people that need it. And if they haven't got enough, or they haven't got enough, but at least they can make it available for the babies and for the most urgent cases. And they can tell us. Why don't they tell us what they're doing, and why don't they tell us what the issues are, so that everybody understands?
And I think that's a brilliant idea. Everybody go into your blood bank and say, I want to offer unvaccinated blood, film it, and ask them the reasons. Why are you not allowing this? Why are you not accepting this?
Well,
this is what the public wants.
They'll accept it to go into their pool of blood, but they won't accept it to keep it separate for people that, I mean, people have lost their job, they've lost their whole future career. Students have done their training courses and then they can't go and practice because they weren't vaccinated. There's all of these consequences that people have been through, and the irony that then you get sick and you need a blood transfusion and you go and get it injected against your will because there is no system in place, even though it's foreseen. We've communicated with them many times. I mean, it's absolutely, well, it's clearly deliberate by the blood bank not to do this. And so that's a whole nother issue again that can be fixed.
So that's a suggestion. Go into the blood bank and demand they do it, and say, when you have got a separate vat for unjabbed blood, I will come back. What would you like to ask?
Do they have any data at this point of what is happening to people who are being given the normal blood from the blood bank at the moment? Is any data come out from that?
Well, nobody's collecting any data because the government is in such denial that there can possibly be any harm that they're actively blocking the collection of any data. But of course, with the case of Rory Nunn, that's such a clear-cut case. One person has died and the coroner found that person died from myocarditis. So something in that Pfizer vaccine caused inflammation of his heart, fit young healthy man who died. And this is another really important thing. We shouldn't be saying, oh, let's carry on until it's so obvious that it's dangerous. We should be saying, stop right now until you can prove it's safe.
And we should certainly not be putting young parents through this kind of torture. There is one suggestion. There are live blood analysis machines out there in New Zealand. Could we get blood from the blood bank and then blood from one of the donors for Sam and Will, for little Will, and look in a live blood analysis?
Yeah, look, I mean, that's not my area of expertise, but I'm sure there are people around with the skills to do that. We've had people looking at the weird components of the vaccine. We've got lots of amazing people in New Zealand and all around the world.
Would that be evidence you could use in court if that were done?
If you could find it. I mean, I know from my own scientific background that you tend to only find what you're looking for, and you need to know what you're looking for. It can be difficult, but hey, why not have a try?
If anybody's got a live blood analysis machine, let us know. But thank you, Sue, and well done. A huge amount of work, and you're heading back to...
Well, I'm going to stay here tonight because I'm going to try and get this urgent meeting with the hospital, and then I'll make another plan, and then we'll be ready to go again on Tuesday. We've got a few jobs to do before then, a bit of evidence to file in court and things like that.
And we'll do a follow-up on that OIA about the deaths. Thank you, Sue.
Great.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks for everything you're doing too, Liz. Amazing.